I sold your concert tickets to cover the rent. My brother said Taylor Swift could wait. The tickets I bought for my daughter's 16th birthday were $2,400. My mom said he has his own bills and you have a job. I called Ticketmaster and demanded a refund when the ticket wouldn't go through the turnstile. Sup Reddit. I'm Larry. I'm 41. I drive a taxi, and I'm the kind of guy who can tell you exactly how much a small favor costs because I'm the one who always pays for it. This happened last summer, the week my daughter Mia turned 16. Mia's mascara was already threatening to betray her. It was 6:42 p.m. We were in the stadium line with about 900 other people wearing glitter and friendship bracelets like it was a religion. My kid Mia was 16 that week, and for the first time in a long time, she looked light, like she had something to look forward to that wasn't school stress or my we're fine. Don't worry about money voice. She held her phone up like it was a sacred object. Dad, she said smiling, so wide her cheeks shook. We're really doing this. We got to the scanner. The attendant took Mia's phone, angled it at the little red window, and waited for the happy beep. Instead, the screen flashed a bright, ugly message. Ticket invalid. The attendant tried again. Same message. She frowned like it was a tech issue. Like maybe Taylor Swift was personally offended by my data plan. Sometimes it's just the brightness, she said polite. Can you pull it up again? Mia's fingers moved fast. Swipe, tap, barcode. She lifted the screen with both hands this time, like a prayer. Ticket invalid. The attendant's expression changed. Not dramatic, just less friendly. Did you buy these from Ticketmaster? She asked. Yes, I said immediately. Directly 2 months ago. Okay, she said. Do you have the email confirmation? My stomach did that slow, heavy drop you feel in an elevator when it starts moving before you're ready. Because I did have the confirmation. I also had something else. A text I hadn't fully processed yet because I've been driving all day, because it was her birthday week, because I was trying to stay present. A text from my mom from that afternoon when I was sitting at a red light and checking my phone between rides. Mom, call your brother. He's stressed. That was it. No context, no details. Just handle him. I looked at Mia. Her smile was still there, but it was starting to wobble at the corners. What's wrong? She whispered, already knowing something was wrong. Nothing. I lied automatically. Give me 1 second. I stepped aside, opened my Ticketmaster app, and felt my blood turn cold. The event was still there. The tickets were still listed, but under them in small gray text that I swear wasn't there yesterday. It said, transfer complete. I didn't transfer anything. My hands were steady, but my brain was loud. Transfer complete to who? When? From what device? I tapped the details. There it was. A timestamp. 2:18 p.m. today, Mia's birthday week, the day of the concert. For hours before we were supposed to walk in, I swallowed hard and walked away from the line, so Mia wouldn't see my face. Then I called the one person in my family who always answers, because he always wants something. My brother Kevin. He picked up on the ring. Yo, he said like we were buddies. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't do the thing my mom expects me to do, which is panic and then fix it. I asked one question, Kevin, I said. Did you access my Ticketmaster account today? A pause, a breath, then casual like he was telling me he borrowed my lawnmower. Yeah, he said. I needed to listen. Don't panic. My grip tightened on the phone. What did you do? Another pause like he was trying to find the version of the truth that would hurt him the least. I sold your concert tickets for rent money, he said. Taylor Swift can wait. For a second, I didn't hear the stadium noise. I didn't hear the people around me. I didn't even hear Mia, behind me, asking softly, Dad. All I heard was my brother, sounding relieved, like he'd finally said it out loud. I had bills, he added quickly. My landlord's on me, and you have a job. You're always working. You'll make it back. I spoke very calmly because if I didn't speak calmly, I was going to say something that would make my daughter remember this moment as a fight instead of a boundary. How did you get into my account? I asked. He laughed, once like I was adorable. Same password you use for everything, he said. Mom told me. She said you wouldn't mind. My chest he tightened. You're standing there with her, aren't you? I said. Yeah, he said, and I heard my mom in the background, muffled, already arguing. She's saying you need to chill, he added. She's saying you'll be fine. I hung up. I didn't block him. Not yet. I turned back toward Mia, who was watching me with her phone held against her chest like it was a fragile animal. Dad, she said again softer. I took a breath, then another. The thing that bothered me wasn't the money, I told her. And that was true. I've lived my whole adult life with money stress. I know how to stretch $40. I know which gas stations are cheaper by 4 cents a gallon. I know which grocery store marks down chicken at 7 p.m. on Thursdays. The thing that bothered me wasn't $2,400. It was the timing, the calculation, the fact that my daughter was standing in a glittery stadium line on her birthday week, trusting me completely, while my own family was treating her like a spare change jar. I need to make a call, I said gently. Stay right here. Don't move. Okay. She nodded too fast. I walked away again and called Ticketmaster. The whole music was upbeat in that way. That makes you want to throw your phone into traffic. When an agent finally picked up, I didn't tell a story. I didn't vent. I gave facts. My account was accessed without my permission. I said, 2 tickets were transferred at 2:18 p.m. today. I'm at the venue right now, and the barcode is coming up invalid because the tickets were transferred out. I need the transfer reversed, or I need a refund issued immediately. There was a pause while she typed. Okay, she said professional. I can see the transfer. It was completed today. Yes, I said, not by me. Have you shared your login information with anyone? No, I said, then corrected myself because I wasn't going to be cute about it. I didn't give him permission. My family knows my old password because years ago I used it for everything. I changed most of them, but I didn't think about it. He asked me to verify the last 4 digits of the card used for the purchase. I did. She asked for the email address on the account. I gave it. Then she said something that made my stomach tighten again. The tickets were transferred to a different email address. She said, I can't disclose the full address, but it is not yours. I know, I said. That's the problem. She put me on hold again while she escalated it. I stared at the concrete wall near the entrance while my daughter stood 50 feet away trying to look brave. And in that moment, while the whole music chirped like nothing in the world mattered, I made a decision that had nothing to do with Taylor Swift. I made a decision about my family. Because here's what nobody tells you about being the responsible one. People don't thank you. They assign you. They make you the default. You become the guy who will pick up the check, fix the problem, absorb the hit, and still show up smiling. And the day you don't, they act like you changed, like you became cruel. The agent came back. Mister, she said, because the tickets were transferred out of your possession, we can't simply reissue them at the gate. However, we can open a fraud claim if it's determined to be unauthorized access. We can issue a refund to the original payment method. Open it, I said. There's an investigation window, she warned. Refunds aren't immediate. I understand, I said, and my voice didn't shake. Open it anyway. She asked if I wanted the account locked. Yes, I said. Lock it. She asked if I wanted all devices signed out. Yes, I said. She asked if I wanted a record of the access log emailed to me. Yes, I said. And I felt something in me settle into place because now it wasn't a family argument. It was documentation. Then I walked back to Mia. She looked up at me like she was trying to read my face. We can't get in, I said simply. Her eyes filled immediately. And she did that thing teenagers do where they try to blink away emotion like it's embarrassing. But Dad, she whispered, voice cracking. You bought them? I did, I said. Then why? I crouched slightly so I was level with her. My brother took them, I said. He transferred them out of my account today. Her mouth opened, then closed like her brain couldn't fit that into the world. Why would he do that? She asked like there had to be a reason that made sense. Because he wanted money, I said. She stared at the ground for a second. Then she whispered, on my birthday. I didn't answer because if I answered honestly, it would have been too sharp. Instead, I said, "You didn't do anything wrong." She nodded, but it didn't land. I stood up, took her hand, and we walked away from the entrance while music and screaming and glitter spilled in from inside like another universe. We got to my taxi. My actual taxi, because I was working until 3 p.m. that day, and Mia sat in the back seat like a passenger, shoulders curled in, staring out the window. I got in the driver's seat, stared at the steering wheel, and felt a heat behind my eyes. Not tears, pressure. I sent one text to my mom. Me. Kevin sold Mia's concert tickets today. We were at the gate. They didn't scan. I filed a fraud claim with Ticketmaster and requested a refund. Do not contact Mia. Then I drove. I didn't know where at first. I just drove because driving is what I do when life gets messy. After a few minutes, Mia's voice came quiet from behind me. "Are you mad at me?" That question hit harder than anything my brother did. I pulled into a parking lot, turned around to my seat, and looked at her. "No," I said firm. "Never. I'm mad at adults who know better." She nodded slowly, tears finally spilling. "I was so excited," she whispered. "I know," I said, and my throat tightened. "I'm sorry. Why does Grandma always?" She trailed off like she didn't want to say the ugly thing out loud. Like, if she said it, it would be real. I waited. She wiped her face with the sleeve of her hoodie. "Why does Grandma always pick him?" She finished. That was the question I'd been dodging for 20 years. Because Kevin is my older brother by 3 years, but in my mom's mind, he is the baby. He's sensitive. He struggles. He just needs a little help. And I'm the one who handles things. I used to think it was love. Then I realized it was a system. Kevin breaks things. I fix them. Mom keeps the peace. Dad stays quiet. Repeat. And as long as I keep fixing, the system never gets exposed. I took a breath. Because she's used to it, I said carefully. "But you and I don't have to participate." Mia nodded shaky. Then she said, voice small, "I hate him." I didn't correct her. I just said, "You don't have to talk to him ever." That night, after I got Mia fed and calm and watching a movie like her body didn't want to be in her own life, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. I didn't drink. I didn't spiral. I didn't call friends to rage. I did what I always do. I built a file. I pulled my Ticketmaster account activity and saved the email log. I changed the password to something long and ugly and unrelated to anything Kevin could guess. I turned on two-factor authentication. I checked my email security and saw a login alert from a device I didn't recognize at 2:11 p.m. I screenshotted it. I checked my bank statement and saw the original ticket charge from 2 months ago. $2,400. 2 tickets plus fees. The kind of number that makes you feel reckless even when you plan for it. I made a note of the case number Ticketmaster gave me. Then, because I knew my family, I did one more thing. I opened my checking account and looked at my automatic transfers. Every month on the 1st, $300 went to my mom's account. Not because she needed it. Not officially, because things are tight, she'd always say. Because your brother's trying, because it helps. I'd been doing it for years. It was never framed as funding, Kevin, but it always was. I stared at that scheduled transfer for a long moment. Then I canceled it. Not paused. Canceled. I also canceled the auto-pay. I'd set up for my mom's phone plan because Kevin was on it too, and somehow his line always had the newest phone. Then I drafted a simple email to my mom and my dad. Subject: boundaries. I wrote Kevin accessed my account without permission. He transferred and sold my daughter's tickets on the day of the concert. The tickets did not scan at the gate. I filed an unauthorized access claim and requested a refund. Mia will not be contacted about this. I will no longer be providing financial support to the household. Then I hit send. I didn't add emotion. I didn't argue. I didn't threaten. I just changed the structure. The next morning at 7:14 a.m., my phone rang. "Mom," I let it ring. At 7:16 a.m., she texted, "Mom, call me now." I didn't. At 7:22 a.m., she texted again. "Mom, Kevin told me what happened. He has bills. Larry, you have a job." There it was, the sentence that always made everything disappear. Like my work was a magical sponge that could absorb any harm. I typed back one line. Mia is not a bill you can move around. Then I put my phone face down and made coffee. By 9:03 a.m., my dad texted, "Dad, son, let's talk." I replied, "Me? Email is fine because talk of my family means pressure Larry until the system goes back to normal." Around noon, Kevin finally texted me himself. "Kevin, bro, you're being dramatic. I was going to pay you back." I stared at that message for a full 30 seconds. He was going to pay me back. With what money? The rent money he used to survive. The job he didn't have. The logic didn't matter. It never does. I typed me. Cool. Then go figure out your rent without me. Then I blocked him. Not as a tantrum, as a decision. That afternoon, I got an email from Ticketmaster confirming the fraud claim was open and that the account was locked pending investigation. I forwarded it to myself, printed it, and put it in the folder I'd started labeled Mia. Mia came home from school and didn't talk much. She went to her room, closed the door, and I heard her music turn on low. Around 6 p.m., she came out and sat at the kitchen counter. While I cooked, Grandma texted me, she said. My hand froze on the cutting board. What did she say? I asked, keeping my voice neutral. Mia slid her phone across the counter. It was my mom trying to sound sweet. Grandma, honey, your uncle had an emergency. He didn't mean to hurt you. Don't be mad at him. Family is family. Mia, as I stayed on mine. She didn't look like a kid. She looked older, tired. Am I allowed to be mad? She asked. That question should never have to be asked. Yes, I said instantly. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel. Mia swallowed. She said he had bills, she said. I know, I said. Mia's jaw tightened. So, do you, she said. You always have bills. You don't take my stuff. I nodded once. Exactly, I said. That night, I didn't try to fix it with a new gift or a forced smile. I did something else. I told Mia the truth about our finances in a way I hadn't before. Not scary, not heavy, just real. I saved for those tickets for 4 months, I told her. I picked up extra airport runs. I skipped eating out. I planned it because you mattered. Mia's eyes filled again, but this time the tears looked different, like she finally understood that the love was real, even if the world was ugly. A week later, Ticketmaster emailed me again. They confirmed unauthorized access and issued a refund to my original card, $2,400. It hit my account on a Thursday at 3:26 p.m. I stared at the notification, not relieved, just validated, because I knew what would happen next. As soon as my family realized I got the refund, they'd treat it like the problem was solved, like the only harm was the money. They were wrong. I didn't tell them about the refund. I didn't announce it. I didn't post it. I didn't wave it in anyone's face. I quietly moved the money into a new savings account labeled Mia Future and locked it down with a different bank, different login, different everything. Then I waited. It took 3 days. On Sunday, my mom showed up at my apartment. She didn't knock politely. She knocked like she owned the door. I opened it, stepped out into the hallway, and closed it behind me. Mom looked tired, but not in a sorry way. In a this is inconvenient way. Larry, she started immediately. Why are you doing this? Kevin is under so much pressure. I didn't let her walk past me. We're not doing this in my home, I said. Her eyes narrowed. I raised you, she said like that was a weapon. And I'm raising Mia, I said calm. Different job. Mom exhaled sharply. He said he sold them for rent, she said like she was stating a neutral fact. He didn't do it to be cruel. Mom, I said, and my voice stayed low. Mia was at the gate. She blinked but didn't fully absorb it. So she said, then corrected herself because she heard how bad it sounded. I mean, she'll get over it. She's a kid. That was the moment. Not the ticket transfer, not the invalid barcode, that sentence. She'll get over it. Like my daughter's heart was a minor inconvenience. The thing that bothered me wasn't that Kevin needed help, I said. It was that he chose my child as the place to take it from. Mom opened her mouth, ready to argue, ready to spin, ready to drag me back into the system. I cut her off with one line. We're even now, I said. You don't owe me anything, and I don't owe you anything. Her face changed because she understood what that meant. No more $300. No more phone plan. No more quiet financial padding she could pretend wasn't funding her favorite son. You can't do that, she snapped. We're family. I can't, I said. And I did. Mom's voice sharpened. You're punishing all of us because of one mistake, she said. One mistake. I repeated, and I almost laughed because, in their version of the story, Kevin had a tough day and did a thing, and now I'm overreacting. In mine, this was the most recent example in a long line of my daughter and I being treated like resources. I looked at my mom. I'm not arguing about reality, I said. You can call it a mistake. I'm calling it a pattern. Mom's eyes flashed. Kevin is depressed, she said suddenly, switching tactics. He's not okay. If something happens to him, that'll be on you. There it was. The emotional hostage note. I nodded once. If Kevin needs help, I said, he can get professional help. I'm not his safety net anymore. Mom stared at me like I'd slapped her. Then she did something I didn't expect. She started crying. Not quiet tears, big dramatic tears. You've changed, she sobbed. You're cold. I didn't move. I'm not cold, I said. I'm done. She wiped her face angrily. You think you're better than us, because you work? She snapped. No, I said. I think Mia deserves adults who don't treat her like collateral. Mom's crying stopped like a faucet. Then she leaned in, voice low. You're really doing this? She said. Yes, I said. She stared at me for a long beat. Then she turned and walked down the hall, like she was leaving a stranger's building. That night, my phone lit up. Kevin called from a new number. I didn't answer. Then a text from him. Kevin, Mom said you cut them off. You got your refund. So what's the problem? I stared at the message. The problem wasn't the refund. The problem was that my brother looked at my daughter's birthday and saw an opportunity. And my mom looked at the damage and said, she'll get over it. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. Aftermath hit fast. My aunt messaged me on Facebook. Heard you're having a breakdown. Call your mother. A cousin I barely talked to texted. Dude, Kevin's really struggling. Why are you being like this? My dad emailed. You're tearing the family apart. Even one of my regular taxi customers, an older woman who knows my mom through church, climbed into my cab and said, your mother is worried sick. She says you're not yourself. That was new. The concern about his mental health tactic. Like boundaries are a symptom. Like saying no is a crisis. I didn't defend myself. I didn't explain to strangers. I didn't argue. I kept doing what I've learned keeps me safe. Facts, structure, silence. I replied to my dad's email only once. Dad, I'm not discussing this by phone. If you want a relationship with Mia and me, you can respect our boundaries. Kevin is not part of our life right now. That was it. Then I archived the thread. Kevin tried different angles. Anger. You're selfish. Guilt. It was rent, man. Pity. You know I'm not good at life like you. Smear. Larry cares more about a pop star than his own brother. And every time I didn't react, because the structure was already changed. No more automatic transfers. No more shared accounts. No more just this once. The quiet part of the aftermath was Mia. For a while, she didn't want to go to any big events. Not because she didn't love music anymore, but because she didn't want to trust excitement. It broke my heart in a way I didn't show her. So, I did something slow. I rebuilt the trust. Not by trying to replace the concert, by proving consistency. I showed up. I listened. I didn't minimize. We made a new birthday tradition, a weekend day that belonged only to us. No family, no obligations. For her 17th, we drove 2 hours to a smaller venue and saw an artist she liked. Not as famous, not as expensive, but it was ours. And that time when the ticket scanned, Mia looked at me like she'd been holding her breath for a year. It beeped. Green. Light. She smiled. I exhaled. About a year later, 14 months after the Swift control scandal, my relationship with my parents became more distant. We speak no more than once a month, and the conversations only touch on superficial topics: the weather, my health, my work schedule. Every time my mother tries to make me feel guilty or something starts with Kevin, I simply shut it down. I'm not ready for such conversations. I say it frankly and sincerely. Kevin and I haven't spoken since that day. I heard family rumors that he changed jobs, lived with someone else, and then returned to my family. I also learned that he tells his own version of events, as if I left him for concert tickets. That's okay, so be it. In his version, he's the victim, and in mine, I was simply protecting my child. Mia is 17 now, taller than me, and smarter, which is a little scary. She works as a vegetable farmer and saves money, as if she's understood from childhood that adults aren't always protected just because they're part of a family. Sometimes this saddens me, and sometimes I'm proud of her. My life has become calmer. My finances have become stable, not because I suddenly became rich, but because I started investing in a system that never respected me. I still drive a taxi, I still work neuro hours, but with a plus, it's much better. Here's the lesson I've learned. If someone justifies harming your child because of debt, they will continue to do so until you restrict their access to those resources. And I did. No words, no drama, just finally making and realizing the change. Family isn't me, who bears your last name. It's those who don't use your love as a resource. History taught Larry a cruel truth. Your family can watch your child's heartache and still justify it with phrases like he has debt and you have a job, as if they were equivalent. The real lesson is that when someone can justify stealing your child because of debt, it's not poverty, it's calculation. Kevin didn't have an emergency. He had access to money. Larry sent his mother $300 a month, funding a system where Kevin's producer always put his needs above everyone else. As soon as Larry restricted these transfers, his mother came in tears, not because Mia's heart was broken, but because she had lost her financial support. And there you have it. When Larry's mother learned of the damage, she said she was worried. She didn't regret it, didn't express outrage. She simply brushed it off. How Mia's restrictions were merely inconveniences in Kevin's rent crisis. Question for you. When a member steals your child's birthday present, does your mother justify his actions? Considering that family is family, is it a consequence? Or is it simply the constant financial support that allows this to happen? And how many times does it take for your child to become a resource before you realize that peace isn't being maintained and that pain and destruction are being caused? Share your experiences, because responsibility shouldn't lie in your child paying for the chaos created by others.